What up? You're listening to the Gopher Broke podcast. We are diving in with some defensive questions today. We're going to talk about some of the basketball portal additions, and then we're going to do some listener mailbag questions. We're saving a few for my article, but we are going to jump into some of the good ones here today at the Gopher Broke podcast. What up? You are listening to the Gopher Broke podcast. It's your boy Kane, Rob, and Tristyn Spann-Ford coming at you once a week, every week, talking Gopher sports, mainly football, but we got you covered here at the Gopher Broke podcast. So we're going to talk a little bit about the new transfer portal additions for the basketball teams, and then we are going to get to the football, talking defensive questions, maybe not starters per se, but some of the depth questions, some of the random things we've got itching, scratching on our brains. And then we're going to do some mailbag questions, so thank you for sending those over on Twitter. Feel free to keep sending them, whether it be on Twitter, whether it be in the comments below over on YouTube. We'll keep track and keep those things going. I am writing for On3 now as well, so I will be doing a monthly article or monthly column, let's say, where the first Sunday of every month, I'm going to just drop any questions you have. I'm going to give you real feedback, real thoughts, real things I'm hearing, and have some fun with it. We're not going to be all prim and proper. We're going to have some good times, and it'll be a good time. So be sure to keep dropping those questions in the comments below over on YouTube or on Twitter at Gophers Kane Rob, at the Gopher Broke Pod, and what have you. But Tristyn Spann-Ford, first things first, how you doing, my boy?
Wonderful. The Wolves are currently putting a whooping on the Nuggets. Feels good.
Love that.
It's just that things are going well right now. Things are going well. I will say, though, we got to do something about these late starts. I mean, I get it. Like, it's all TV rights. They don't want two games playing at once. But, like, Tuesday was 9:30? What are we doing here? It doesn't even tip till 10.
It's not even just the Wolves. It's the Wild, too. I tried to tap in and stay with the Wild last night, and I was like, dang, this game, I looked at the beginning. I was like, oh, we're down 2-0. This is not looking good for us. Come back, go up 3-2. I was like, oh, snap, I got to tap in. We got to watch this thing now. I watched them start making it and come back and then go ahead. And I'm like, okay, I got to finish it out. We got to finish it out. Hopefully the Wild just hold on. We close it. Nope. They let a score go in, 3-3. Then we go to OT. Now, normally in the in-season games, they don't do a whole nother intermission from the end of the game to OT. They just kind of get in and get after it. Now, this time they're like, let's do a whole nother intermission with like 15 to 20 minutes. All right, OT happened. Oh, guess what? We don't do shootouts. So you didn't score. We're going to a second OT. And not just that, we're not just going to jump in. We are going to take a full nother intermission in between. Dog, I'm sitting here struggling. My eyes are like, I'm like trying to fight, stay awake, right? It's like, nope. So I was like, okay, I'm going to close my eyes, listen like the radio. Out, dog. I was out. I couldn't even watch the second overtime, which obviously I didn't miss too much because the Wild ended up losing. And the game finished at like 1 a.m. I'm like, we got to fix it.
Literally, the earliest you could go to bed if you're a Minnesota fan this week was tomorrow night? Tomorrow night? No, the Wild play tomorrow. No, they play on Saturday. Tomorrow night is the first night this week you've been able to just go to bed at like 8 o'clock, like a normal human being. It's insane.
And it's a Friday night. Do you think that's happening? Do you think that's happening for any normal?
We're all just going to be sleep deprived. But I guess we're also complaining about first world problems. Look at all these playoff teams we got. Spoil of riches. We're too many playoff teams.
Let's just make sure we get out of the first round first.
That would be nice. It would be nice.
All right, I have an opposite of a gripe. And it has to do with timing, and it has to do with the draft. NFL draft made the timers faster.
Oh.
We are cooking through these drafts. We are moving. I feel like last year and a couple of years before, we would be at pick like 20 right now at 9:40.
Yep.
And the fact we are at 9:40 p.m. and we are talking about pick number 27. We are wrapping this thing up. It'll be done by 10. So thank you, NFL draft. Thank you for speeding the clock up. Stop messing around with the pick is in, but they use the whole clock. And no. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm an advocate for that seventh round should be a 30-second clock. Honestly, you should just have to take whoever's at the top of your board still. It drags on, and I want to watch it too because it's football. I want to watch it. But but it's crazy how much those 2 minutes have made a difference because it is a little bit more watchable now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
As watchable as this guy standing there saying names could be.
Right. I feel you. All right, it's time to get into some Gophers talk. It's time to move on to the basketball squad. Now, first things first, we're going to talk, last week we talked men's basketball first. This week we are going to talk women's basketball first because their team is full. They got a full roster now. They brought in 3 transfers. Now, if you remember a week ago, I came here on this show and I said, patience. It's coming. It's going to be good. Trust me. And it happened. It happened. We got a point guard, starting point guard. We got a starting center, and we got a 6th woman on the team. All of them bringing starting experience. All of them coming from high major schools. Dog, I'm here for it. Leah Harmon, Taylor Thompson, and Gracie Merkel. Now, I don't know if you did any watching. I don't know if you did any scouting. I don't know if you did any film watching because, you don't do that. And I respect it.
Yeah, I
respect the grind at this point. But do you know anything about these 3?
I know zero about any of them. But that's why I have you. I don't need to learn anything because I got you.
Exactly. That's what I'm here for. So we're going to break it down. Leah Harmon, she's going to be stepping in the point guard position. Now, I don't think that she is a Maya Battle per se, but that's okay. There are different types of point guards. A Maya Battle was more of your all-around Swiss Army knife type point guard, She was getting like 10 points a game, like 7 rebounds a game, and like 5 or 6 assists a game. So all over, doing it all. Leah Harmon is a walking bucket. She was getting 16 points a game. She still holds her own when it comes to rebounds and assists, averaging about 2 in each of those categories. But her team, they didn't need rebounds and assists. They needed points. And Leah Harmon said, bet, I got you. In fact, she went from freshman year at Miami scoring 2 points a game to sophomore year at Central Florida scoring 16 points a game. Quite the jump. She is a baller. She is dynamic. And if you watch the film, she actually has the vision. She has the court vision. She looks pretty good as far as creating. I think that you're going to be surprised. I think her points are probably going to come down a little bit in this Gophers team because they don't need her to score like Central Florida needed her to score. But I think her assists and her playmaking will probably go up. So we got our point guard. I'm super excited by it. Next player, Taylor Thompson. She is a power forward center from Northwestern. So she's played here in the Big Ten. She averages about 10 points a game and 7 rebounds a game. So close to a double-double as a starter at Northwestern. Now she's coming over to the Gophers, and I think she'll be a rotation big, but she's got a great post game, and she can hit the 3. She's not an efficient 3-point shooter. She'll shoot under 30% from the 3, but she can hit the 3, and that is something that none of our bigs have been able to do since Annika Stewart. So that's going to be a good addition for the Gophers, and she can get in there. Finau Tonga was our backup big last year, and I feel like she can play that role and then some. So it's an improvement on the position. You like to see it. And then Tristyn, my boy, getting used to the name Gracie Merkel, because Gracie Merkel is 6'6", starting center from Penn State, who last year averaged 19.2 points per game and 8.3 rebounds per game. Dog, we had Sophie Hart last year, and if anybody could fill Sophie Hart's role, this girl is the epitome of perfection to fill that role without missing a beat and then adding to that role. I am so stoked for Gracie Merkel to be the starting center. She took up the final spot on this Gophers team, and they're ready. They're ready not only to run it back to the Sweet 16, they might try to go further. They might mess around and try to go further, Tristyn. I am happy about this women's basketball team.
I would love a Final Four run out of this squad. Just something to, maybe even a national championship. The school hasn't seen one in a minute.
Speak it into existence.
That's what I'm saying. Why not?
Hey, no, but real talk, I think that they're going to be hella competitive. I think they can make a case for the top of the Big Ten. It's going to be a battle. I mean, we just saw UCLA win the entire national
Yep.
championship, but they're losing 6 starters who all got drafted to the WNBA. So they're going to take a little step back. But USC, they got some young girls coming in. They got some transfers coming in. They got Juju coming back. So USC is going to be tough, but the Gophers are going to be in the top 4 conversation in the Big Ten again. I think so. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited. There were so many people out there that were like, we're not doing enough, and people were panicking and freaking out. And then we come with these 3, and all of a sudden it's like, dog, sign me up. Is it October yet? November yet? Let's get it.
Oh, hell yeah. Women's basketball in general is going to have a moment in these next 5 years is going to be massive, especially with we've seen the contracts that the WNBA is now coming out with. That is huge for the entire sport from top to bottom. So I think that's how every professional sport grows and through that system. So I think these next 5 years are going to be so huge for just women's basketball in general.
Yep, and with that, get your season tickets, folks. Get your season tickets because I'm telling you,
they're not going to get cheaper. They're not going to get cheaper.
And the women's basketball team, it's a steal. It is a steal of a deal. I have 4 tickets now, 4 tickets, season tickets, because they are like $150 for a season ticket, like straight up with that one seat, $150. So you get 2 of them, $300 for the whole year. Not every game, the entire season. So go get you some season tickets while you can. But let's talk about men's basketball. Move it over that way. They also are hitting the portal in on fire. I feel like this is NBA Jam. Don Plutz-White was like on fire, and then Nico said, "Bet on fire. Let's get it. Let's get it." So we just got the whole squad going crazy. Nico brings in Nolan Groves, Minnesota native from Orono. He averaged 31 points per game as a freshman, or not a freshman, as a senior in high school. Last year, he played for Texas Tech. We brought him up on the show last week because we had mentioned he committed. He locked down Caden Boozer when they played against Duke and helped Texas Tech beat Duke last season. So excited about him because he's going to step into a bigger role with more scoring opportunities and what have you. I see him like a Langston Reynolds from this last year, except for he can shoot the ball a little bit better, but he'll bring that same grit, that same tenacity, that same swagger. So I'm all about that. Then you got Winters Grady. Hell of a name. Hell of a name.
That's a
Winters. Your first name is Winters and you are coming to Minnesota. Dog, welcome. The NIL is going to treat you very well with that name. So excited about him. He was a 4-star guy in high school and shot the mess out of the ball in high school. They are talking about this dude might have one of the most pure shooting strokes in the country. And now he's playing in Nico Medved's system that opens up, creates space, and lets shooters get good shots. Dog, Winters Grady is going to be a name for the records, and he might get a medical red shirt as well because he only played 9 games last season, then got hurt and was out for the rest of the season. So he could have 4 years of eligibility to be here in that Nico system. And Tristyn, did I tell you where he's coming from, where he's transferring from? Michigan. You know what Michigan just did? They just won a national championship.
Bringing a ring with him. Bringing a ring.
He was like, look, I just sat here. I watched how you get it done. I listened to a coach who knows what they're doing. I'm about to listen to another coach who knows what they're doing. But I'm going to bring the mentality, the swagger, and the attitude that I saw a national championship team do. And we didn't just single out. We weren't going to bring in just one national champion. So we brought in another national champion in Malik Cordell. He is a 7'2" center transferring in from Michigan, and he's still got 3 years of eligibility left. Nico was like, look, Dusty knows what he's doing. They can fit my system. Why not get some Michigan boys on this squad? So we got 2 young guns, plus Nolan Grove still has 3 years of eligibility left. That's 3 of the 4 transfers we brought in so far that have 3+ years of eligibility. And then Nico wrapped it up, and he got Kyan Evans. We were talking about him last week. We were like, dog, you're looking at Iowa? You're looking at Iowa? We understood North Carolina, but Iowa? He said, Kane, I heard you. We ain't going to Iowa. We just had to tease him a little bit. We had to let him know, like, oh, yeah. No, we going over there to Dinkytown. So Kyan Evans, probably going to be a starter here for the Gophers, can shoot the mess out of the ball. Didn't do well last year with UNC, but that's because Herbert Hubert Davis. You might as well call him Herbert. He's
Yeah.
fired at this point. But either way, Hubert Davis couldn't coach anybody. So I don't blame that on Kyan Evans. We have had two different UNC folks come over here and absolutely ball out. I think Kyan Evans will be the third one. But the Gophers are working, dog. They are adding people to the roster, and I am excited.
I think there's going to be so much more parity in college basketball now that the transfer portal is in place. Like even more than in football where like, okay, anybody could, anybody has a shot. College basketball is going to be different every single year because guys can stay longer. Everyone is staying as long as they possibly can because they're just getting their money now. So I'm super excited. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yep. I'm with you 100%. Now the portal is closed officially. No new entries, more men's or women's. So the people that are on the team are on the team for the season. No more worrying, holding your breath, or what have you. The Gophers can still add 2 more players from the portal if they want to, and if the money is right. So overall, we could still add a couple because we still have 2 roster spots open for the men's side. The women's side is closed. We got a full roster, so we're good there. But we will keep you posted on anything else we hear on the men's editions. And we'll keep you posted as we get closer to the basketball season. But, basketball is a ways away now. But what isn't a ways away is football. And we got to get to the golden sport. We got to get to it all. We're talking Gophers, football, defensive questions this time. Last week, we talked about offensive questions. Feel free to go back and watch that show. We had a good time. We had some laughs. We had some good clips with it all. We talked about Drake Lindsay potentially getting mono. If you don't know what that means, you might as well go back and look at it. But it was a positive. You would prefer mono over anything else. So overall, be sure to go and check that one out. But let's talk defense. Let's talk and start with the boys on the interior. And I want to know, what is the upside of this room? It just feels like we have so many unknowns because you lose Devin Eastern, you lose Jalen Logan Redding, you lose Mighty Mouse, Rushan Lawrence,
Yep.
you lose all sorts of dudes from this interior defensive line, and we bring in a guy, and I'm gonna trip on his name. I think it's Naquan Crowder. Naquan Crowder is coming in. And he has been playing a ton in the spring. It looks like he'll probably be in that starting conversation right away. He could be a run stuffer and what have you. Still looks a little shorter, but I think he's going to hold his own. I think he's going to be a big time player for the Gophers. And then you've got some of these younger guys that haven't played yet. You got Jalen Hicks, Riley Sunrum, Jaquan Stubbs is in there, Mo Sane is in there. You got other transfers coming in. Zion Chapman, who is still rehabbing. He hasn't even practiced with the Gophers this spring, but he's coming from FIU. You got Sid Kaba coming in from Marshall with his teammate Crowder. So many dudes, but I say all those names, and Tristyn, how many names did you actually know in that room?
Honestly, we talked about Naquan. We're going to figure out his name by the time the season starts. That is honestly all we've really talked about. And when we talk about the D-line, it's just all about the edge because we have, again, an embarrassment of riches on edge rushers. We have edge rushers everywhere. So that's what I was going to ask. Is there anyone that you think they'll rotate in to move into that interior spot? Or has the potential to? Because, I mean, you have so many guys, like Jackson Howard. You have, obviously, Anthony Smith, TJ Bush. Like, TJ Bush can probably play interior. He's an animal. So, is that kind of something you do? Or do you just kind of rotate guys in and, hope somebody, stands out?
I think if anybody rotates inside, and this is a great question. It was kind of where I wanted to go. It was actually teased into my edge question, so we're going to go there. Does Jackson Howard rotate inside? And the only reason I ask on Jackson Howard is because when you talk about TJ Bush Jr., when you talk about Anthony Smith, those two dudes are in their final year of eligibility. And when you start to get to your final year eligibility, like in the end, you always do what's best for the team and things like that. But also when you actually have legitimate draft opportunities and talks around you, the coaches would be doing a disservice if they're not putting you in the best position to get drafted. And I think Anthony Smith and TJ Bush's best positions to get drafted is playing on the edge. And so I think the coaches are really going to lean into the edge there. Now, Carter Menz and Adam Kasai, who are also working in the edge here this spring, those dudes are too small to play on the inside. When I say small, I mean like skinny small, but they're fit, they're built, they're dogs. But when you're talking about playing on the edge, you can be skinnier and still be a
An
beast. When you play
athletic
on
build.
the
An athletic
right,
build.
right. When you play on the interior, dog, I need some McDonald's in your system. I need some extra jello. I need a little shake when you hit me with this. I need a little extra shake with you. That's you got to have some beef to you when you're playing on the interior because it's not always your job to go. Speed is not your job in the interior defensive line. The job is to uh, take a few bodies with you, eat up a few of the offensive linemen, create a car wreck. So that way, when you take two offensive linemen down, or you make sure that two offensive linemen have to deal with you, it frees up one of your edge rushers. It frees up a linebacker blitzing on the inside. So when you take two bodies and you create a car wreck, and you can't do that as a skinny boy. I'm sorry, you can't do it the same way. So we need some beef on the interior, and that's where I just don't think a Carter Menz or Adam Kasai can get there. Now, I'm not saying Jackson Howard is a beef type dude, but he's got broad shoulders. He's got some reach to him. He's got some like build. His build would allow him to not only hold his own strength wise, but I think just do what the job needs to be done on that interior. I don't think it's his strength per se, but this isn't his final year of eligibility either. And we've seen Anthony Smith kick into the interior in years past, but I don't think you want to set him up like that this year in senior year where you want to let him get off and be the best player that he can be and the most dangerous man he can be, which is on the edge. So that's why I'm curious about Jackson Howard potentially rotating in, not full time, but here and there to help out.
No, yeah, and that's exactly, it was just an example. I even think Jackson Howard might be he's long. He's so long. And I don't know, he might be too long to play D tackle. And I don't know if we go in with maybe some like 3-man fronts or what, but it's a very curious situation we have on the interior D line.
Yeah, there's definitely some questions. Some answers are gonna be had either way, and that could be good or that could be bad. But something is going to be learned about this interior defensive line
Manuel
because
Carmel.
honestly,
Manuel Carmel. Just put him. I think he
on
can
the
play every
interior,
position on defense. Put him everywhere. Put him everywhere. He'll play anything.
but here's the thing: is the interior defense, as much as people don't give as much props or love or credit to because it's the ugly work. Like it's just like the center. Unless the center is doing something bad, like over snapping it, like snapping it over your head or something, you don't talk about the center.
Oh yeah.
When you don't hear about the center, it's a good thing. D tackle, you don't necessarily not want to hear about them, but they don't get the love and maybe the respect that they should. But D tackle is so important because your edge rushers feast if you create interior pressure. If you come from the interior and cause the quarterback to feel panic because you got a bull rush coming at you from the D line on the interior because they beat that offensive lineman, you start to scramble the outside. And who are your best players right now? The dudes on the outside like Anthony Smith, Carter Menz, TJ Bush, and what have you. You push them on the outside and get into a chase, dog. I'm taking them 9 times out of 10 that they're chasing down that quarterback.
No,
so if you can get some real pressure from the inside, it is a game changer for this defense.
Not to mention, you know how many double teams Devin Eastern had to just eat so Matt Baranowski could just make all these tackles. Like he's an unsung hero of the defense.
For real. And I still hope he gets drafted here in these next couple days. Shout out Devin Eastern. But flipping to that, on the edge side, so we know we've got Anthony Smith. We know we've got TJ Bush. We know we've got Carter Menz. But my biggest question, one, was how does Jackson Howard fit in? Is he comfortable being a guy that rotates in? Or does he maybe move into the interior at times? So you play some D or some edge so you can get some reps, some interior D so you can get some reps, kind of like Anthony Smith did 2 years ago when Ja and Danny Strigow were the guys out on the outside. Mm-hmm. And so you wanted to get Smith on the field. There just wasn't as many opportunities on the edge and the rush end. I think Jackson Howard could play that same type of role, but I'm curious to see if Adam Kasai can put enough fight into that competition to make it so Adam Kasai is maybe Anthony Smith's backup. Carter Menz and TJ Bush are rotating, and then maybe Jackson Howard really leans into that defensive tackle and is like, look, I'm going to do whatever it takes for the team to be a starter, to get as many snaps as I can. If that means D tackle, let's get it.
I love the idea of Jackson Howard. I mean, I think if Anthony Smith would have went to the league this year, I think Jackson Howard was going to have this was going to be his squad. Like this was going to be his D line. I don't know, something about him. He feels like the prodigal son. You know, like he was so highly recruited coming out of high school and had a billion offers. I think every school in the country offered him. And so I think he has so much potential that it is kind of, I don't want to say unfortunate that we have such a packed room, but I think you find ways to put him on the field, and whether that be interior or I don't even know. Like you got to find ways to get him on the field. But him being in this system for 2 full years now, 2 full seasons, I think that's going to be a huge difference as well. Like he's gonna show that intelligence level, and whatever he needs to do, he's going to do for the team.
Absolutely. All right, let's move it to the other part of the box in the linebacker position. So we know Maverick Baranowski is going to be Maverick Baranowski. Yep. We're not asking questions about that. We think Matthew Kingsbury is the next man up on the next to Maverick Baranowski. But that being said, my biggest question is, can Mason Carrier make a case for major time? I've been talking about this dude, and Tristyn, you know I'm always about a year early, and I've been talking about him last year. I was talking about him a lot. So it's like, look, break out the crystal ball.
Yeah.
Break out the crystal ball. I mean, I'm ready for it. I think Mason Carrier has been making some noise in the spring. I think he's got the drive. I think he's got that dog. I think he's got the grit. I mean, he is Detroit Lake's finest. I think this dude is going to make a case and look at PJ Fleck and look at Danny Collins and look at the linebackers coach Mariano Suri-Marin, and he's going to be like, keep me off. Keep me off the field. I dare you. You don't want me off the field. You do not want me off the field. That's like the mentality I just see him having. I am excited about Mason Carrier, and I think he's going to be in the conversation, in the rotation. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to work, but that dude's going to be hard to keep off the field.
Mason Carrier also, I forgot that he was from Detroit Lakes. Like, I love the idea of so many Minnesotans on this Minnesota defense. It's kind of awesome. Like Jackson Howard, Mason Carrier, is Manuel Carmo is also from here, correct? Like we have a bunch of dudes that stayed home that are going to play with a different kind of pride with the M on their chest. And yeah, you're right. He is one of them. I haven't, not a lot of tape on him, but I just go off your word, dog.
Hey, that's a big ask right there. That's a big ask. But overall, the other linebacker question I have is your boy, Emmanuel Carmo. Do we see him as more a traditional linebacker? Does he work in there next to Maverick Baranowski at times? Or is he mixed into the edge? Is he playing a little bit of both? Is he playing that strong Sam when they do need more linebacker looks, a 3 linebacker look instead of having the nickel? Emmanuel Carmo is like the Swiss Army knife of this defense. I think you summed it up really well. He can play anywhere. And I think that you need him to be on the field a lot, but strategically, I think his snaps might not be as high as some of these other players like Maverick or some of the safeties or things like that. But I think his impact is going to be one of the most critical for this defense.
I think you could play, if you really wanted to get nuts with it, you put him as like an old school, like a rover linebacker. Like, give him the Troy Polamalu treatment and just say, hey, listen, whatever you're going to do, just go ahead and do it. As long as you do it at full speed, good things will happen. That's what I think, because he's a little bit undersized, correct? As far as linebackers go, a traditional linebacker. I thought that's what we had talked about, but also he might have still been in high school when we talked about that. But I think I think that's just what he's going to be one of those dudes where he could just say football player. Like, what position do you play? I play defense. Like
6'2", 225. So I think he's all right there.
No, yeah, he's right where you want to be. Like, yeah, just you got to find a way to put him on the field, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to be a big time player. I think, again, his snaps might not be as like traditional starter as you think, but I think they're going to use him as a Sam. I think they're going to use him on the edge. I think they're going to use him maybe as a Will at times and let that nickel play. Maybe they'll use him as a nickel in that rover type but they need to keep that guy on the field because his upside is just nasty. It's just insane. So looking forward to that linebacker room. Last 2 rooms we got to talk about on the defense is the corners and the safeties. Now, I'm going to start with the corners because the safeties is going to transition into our mailbag questions. Some people got some questions there, and I think it'll be a good carryover. But the cornerback question I have for you is, will Aiden Gooseby be a true corner. And the reason I ask this is because we already know Kerry Brown's playing safety for sure.
Yep.
The more and more you hear, the more and more you see, the more and more that is out there, you're seeing a lot of Zach Harden. You're seeing a lot of Garrison Monroe. And from what I've seen with Garrison Monroe, dog, he is one of my most excited players. If I had to mark a number one my guy on the defense right now, I think I'd put Garrison Monroe as my guy right now, which is saying a lot because I like a lot of dudes on this defense. But I think Garrison Monroe, he's just moving with a different set of expectations. He's moving with greater responsibility. He's moving with quicker speed, and he looks stronger. Between the nickel and the safety, I think Garrison Monroe is going to be on the field in some capacity. And so for me, if Zach Harden really is that guy, if you're working guys in like Mekhi Frazier, who is a transfer in, Parker Knutson maybe, who is a transfer in, Zahir Rayner, who is making a case for himself in the nickel, that's a ton of names. And like Aiden Gooseby is going to play on this team. You know PJ loves his vets. You know PJ trusts Gooseby. Does that mean he's going to be a corner? Does that mean he's going to be in that mix with the cornerbacks? Or what do you think? Do you think he's going to push some of these guys down the safety roster?
It's tough. I think with the way Gooseby finished his season last year, like, do you remember that last game? He played with a different type of mentality. Like, he was making huge stops, huge hits. But I think he might be a corner. I don't know. It's hard to tell because they also rotate guys around so much. And I think he can play both very well. So I think it's going to be more of a situational, like, hey, you could, like, almost a Swiss Army knife just in the secondary. Put him wherever you need him.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think Gooseby's gonna play. I just still want to know where. Just seeing so many dudes step up in spring and like looking pretty good in spring, I'm like, where is Gooseby gonna be in this? Because you know he's gonna be in there. Now, I'm not mad if I see Nestor, Aiden West, and Gooseby sometimes work nickel, sometimes subs out with Aiden West on the outside. You let Nestor kind of do his thing. If Nestor needs a breather, Gooseby's in, West's in, like, and you got those three top dogs on the outside corners. I'm not mad at that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
All right, so the next room is the safety room. And now before we transition into our mailbag questions, because like I said, it kind of ties together, I want to know, what is your biggest thing for the safety room? What are you wanting to know from this safety group?
It's got to be who steps up and who wants it more. I mean, Kerry Brown is obviously going to be in. He's going to play. But there's so many guys, and we've talked about it. We're a Parker Knutson podcast, but there's younger guys coming in that I want to see who separates themselves in spring ball to show that they want to be on the field more.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. I think that's who's going to answer the bell. We can talk about Garrison Monroe, we can talk about Zach Harden, but you can only do so much in spring and fall. Once those lights are on, who answers the bell? Who's the guy who's going to get after it and makes it so you can't take him off the field? Now, I think my money right now is on Garrison Monroe being in that conversation, but there's tons of guys in there. I'm looking forward to it all. But we're going to move over to a couple mailbag questions to wrap up today's show. Today's show will be a little bit shorter than normal, but it's all right. We getting into it. The first question from the listeners that I want to bring up on the show now, a few of them, like I said, we're going to bring up here. A few of them I'm going to take to a written column over at On3. So if you haven't subscribed there, be sure to do so. But also, if you haven't subscribed here, hit subscribe over on YouTube. Make sure you are following the podcast, dropping your questions down below, and we will keep those going throughout the off season here. The first question we have is from Danny Sharon. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it, but first of all, much love for you dropping the question. Much love for you over on Twitter, Danny Sharon 26. He said, since Coy stirred the pot recently, I don't know if you saw that, Tristyn.
I got it written on. We were going to talk about this.
Oh, okay.
We weren't getting out of this episode without talking about it.
So since Coy stirred the pot recently, who has a better chance of getting drafted in the future? Coy Parrish or Kerry Brown? And then second part of that question, which one are you keeping if the Gophers, if you were running the Gophers and it was your choice, Coy Parrish or Kerry Brown? Ooh. Now I'm going to let you go first because I already know my answer to both of these questions, and I think it might catch a couple people by surprise, but what is your answer?
I think we might be on the same page, and it's not going to be what this guy wants to hear. Coy Parrish is going to get drafted first because he's got an O instead of an M on the side of his helmet. That's just how it's going to be. They both could have the exact same season, and that's how it would be. Unfortunately, I do love the leadership in Kerry Brown, though. I really, really do. I'm not even going to disparage Coy. I was kind of tripping earlier. It just is. It's nice to know that Coy has still yet to be media trained, and so
the maturity. Look, if we are breaking out the attributes on NCAA 27, the maturity is definitely not in that 80, 90 grade. That part is a little lower, but I digress.
But it's fine. It's also, I think that in that position, you can't go on the field and you can't play that position at a competitive level without thinking you are the best player on the field. And that goes any secondary player, that's how they all are. They all have that mentality. So I think that's just kind of comes with the territory of being that position. I'm kind of losing track of my thought here. Kerry Brown, though. Kerry Brown, the leadership mentality that he has where it feels like he's coming to work. He's coming to work. He's going to do his job, and he's going to make sure everyone around him is also doing their job correctly. It feels like you don't have to. I mean, obviously he needs to be coached, but you don't have to coach him. He knows what needs to be done, and he's going to make sure everyone around him is doing it as well. Coy is a hell of an athlete. He is an absolute stud. But I think you know what you're getting with Coy, and he's going to try to make that big play, and he wants that big play, and he's always going to be like that, and that's why he is as good as he is. So I think you know what you're getting out of both of them.
I tend to agree with you. Here's my thing. Coy is going to get drafted higher, barring an injury or something like that. Coy is going to be drafted higher, but that doesn't mean he's going to be better. Coy has higher upside. Coy has more natural talent to him. He didn't have to grind for it as much as Kerry Brown has had to put his name on NFL draft radars. But Coy Parrish makes more boneheaded plays, makes more mistakes because he takes those unnecessary risks, and that won't fly at an Oregon or something like that. If he doesn't answer the bell right, if he doesn't play with the right discipline, why am I tripping on his name right now? The coach.
Dan Lanning.
Dan Lanning is not going to play them games. He's like, dog, we can find another 5-star. We can find another safety. We got dudes grinding in the background. If you are going to play discipline, you will lose time. So this might be the best for Coy's maturity and for his growth in that department to get drafted higher. If he can do that, he can see himself get drafted in the first round like Dylan Thieneman did today. But if he doesn't, he can find himself dropping down radars as well. Kerry Brown is the guy like a Justin Wally, like a Terrell Smith, like a Jordan Howden. Those guys got to the league. I think Kerry Brown will get to the league. It just, again, the O on the helmet and the M on the helmet does make a big difference. It's unfortunate. Tyler Nubin got up into the second round, but if Tyler Nubin was playing on Oregon, he's probably a first-round pick just because of the bull that is the scouting and helmet scouting. Plain and simple. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, Kerry Brown will get there, and I think he can be more productive. I think he can be the longer tenured vet, too. If you're telling me who lasts longer in the NFL, I might have a different answer. But when you're talking about who gets drafted higher, I do think that is going to be Coy Parrish. Now, which one are you keeping if the Gophers? Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was, go ahead. We can continue. I was an afterthought.
I was just going to say, which one am I keeping? If I'm running the Gophers and I had a choice between the two, I'm keeping Kerry Brown. Plain and simple. I'm not even thinking about it. Kerry Brown does the quiet work. Kerry Brown is a leader. Kerry Brown is the dude that stood out on the field last year because you're like, oh my God, he just made that play that we needed. He just popped that running back. He just made a stop. He just did. Kerry Brown does everything.
Kerry Brown was the better player last year. He was the better player last year.
Coy Parrish was looking to be the game changer, looking to be the difference maker. But I've heard from many players, many is a stretch. I've heard from a number of players on last year's team that talked about Coy left them on an island, basically. The coverage was set, so he was supposed to be the back end on certain plays, and he's cheating down, and all of a sudden their dude beats him over the top, and all of a sudden it's a touchdown instead of a knockout by Coy in a stop or a quick tackle for 5-yard gain instead of a 35-yard touchdown. Like Coy trying to make the home run kept people on an island, and all of a sudden there's more mistakes, and all of a sudden there's more explosive plays. I think this Gophers defense is going to be better without Coy Parrish because it will play more within the system. Now, there's still things I think need to be addressed in the system, like Danny Collins. When it's 1st and 10 and we're playing our corners back at the 12 yards off, we gotta address some of those things. Some of those things just don't make sense to me. But when it comes to discipline, being in the right spot, playing within the system, being in the right place at the right time, I think we are going to see more of that this season, which will lead to less picking apart of our secondary.
I think also just to add, I also don't think Coy was trying to necessarily throw shade at the Gophers. Also, I think he was just answering the question that he knew the media and the fans would want to hear. They want to hear their former players' names out of mouths of the current players. Like, he's just saying this person was here first and I want to be just as good as him. I don't think he was saying that nobody has ever been drafted out of the corners, but I do love the fans on Twitter, the Gopher fans, being upset about that, because that shows passion. That means you care, and I love that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't think he was trying to take a shot, but also, like, if you want to hang it up as bulletin board material, do it. Let's get the dubs. Like, let's go get it. But yeah, no. Also, if it felt weird or jumpy in there, your boy's internet went straight dial-up mode on him. So hopefully we will have a seamless transition there. But we gonna keep on keeping on. Now let's jump to our next question. Also, that question we already talked about, it was from Danny Sharon. All right, the next question that we are going to have. Look, man, I have to put it in there because, you know, we get this question too often, usually right after the season instead of currently. But we've got Gopher Huddle or Gopher_Huddle is asking us, how hot of a seat is PJ on right now? And what record will it take for him to get off? Or what record will it take for him to be pushed or to push him over the edge? So I guess I know my thoughts on this one, but how are you feeling on this?
I think that PJ has found himself in the perfect place. He got here at the right time, and he had the perfect amount of success to exist here for a very long time. And I'm not mad at it, but I think he would probably have to have it would have to be like a 4 or 5 win season before we would even start to talk about it. And even then, even then we'd probably have to go another 4 and 5 year season where people would even kind of start to be like, hey, what's going on here? So
yeah, dog. PJ is sitting on the freezer right now. PJ is sitting on the freezer. He's sitting on the freezer right now. He's chilling. He's cooling.
They will extend him this year. They just extend him every year.
It's out there on a hot summer day. He's pulling out the ice cold beer saying, you good? Like, here, you want one? Like, his seat is not hot right now at all. I know that some Gophers fans probably hate to hear that. I don't even know if they're really Gophers fans or if they're just like the ones that are like, we'll never win a championship if we have this, whatever, dog. Like, what were we doing before? What were we doing before? Like, and I'm not saying settle. I don't even think PJ wants to settle. PJ has talked about, he just did a interview with Andy and Ari on 3. And he was talking about they have had teams where they were 1 or 2 games away from being a team that would qualify for the CFP. And they had a 2019 season that would have been for the CFP season. So it's like, if we can capitalize and get those 1 or 2 games in those other seasons, or have another season like a 2019 season, we can get to the CFP every few years and compete and push and the players in that locker room have that same mentality. We're going to get there. We're going to scrap. We're going to find a way to turn some of these close losses into close wins. And so overall, I don't think his seat is hot at all. I think that he could have a 4-win season this year and he's not getting fired, like plain and simple. He could have a 4-win season this year, a 5-win season next year, and then people are going to be like, okay, he's on the hot seat. But if you have to have back-to-back under 500 seasons to even get considered on the hot seat. You're on a cool seat right now. I mean, look at Fickle.
Yeah.
Luke Fickle hasn't done shit for Wisconsin. His best season is a 7-win season. Luke Fickle in, what is it now? 3 seasons with Wisconsin, 1 season with Ohio State. 3 seasons with Wisconsin, 1 with Ohio State as a full-time, full-year head coach. He has 1 winning season in those 4 seasons in Big Ten play, and he is just coasting. They didn't fire him last year. People are talking about how amazing his recruiting is this offseason. The fact that dog has 1 winning season and he is on the hot seat, but he ain't fired. Yeah, PJ's chilling. PJ's chilling. I'm just saying.
I think as long as PJ's he's not doing things that a stagnant coach does. You know, like he's still getting like pretty decent recruiting classes, like, you know, solid recruiting classes. He is yet to have a quarterback that is underperformed. Would you say? I don't think we've had a quarterback that's underperformed.
I think you can say in his time here, Ethan underperformed, and I'm a big Ethan fan. Me and Ethan were tight. Dapped him up after a ton of press conferences. Still talk with him and his family a little bit now. I'm a big Ethan fan, but compared to how the fan base built him up and what PJ sold him as, he slightly underperformed. Now you go look at what he did with Rutgers.
I was going to say,
looks great. If he did that here, fans wouldn't treat him like they treated him here. Unfortunate, but true.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I would also say some of the Tanner years after the 2019 year, some of the Tanner years.
Tanner did have Rashad and Tyler Johnson.
Feels like I got love.
Not to mention Mo.
I got love for Tanner. I got nothing but love and respect. He's one of the most winningest quarterbacks in program history.
And he's just such a nice guy.
He's a great dude.
He's just such a nice dude. Like, nice guy.
Great dude. I have nothing against Tanner. I like Tanner. Tanner was the quarterback in my first year of coverage. I'm all for Tanner. But he had a couple disappointing years.
Yeah.
So I can't go with you 100% on. We've never had.
I guess you're right. Now, hindsight, I just get so worked up. I just say things.
So a few of these other questions I am going to take to the column. I'm trying to see if we can wrap ourselves up with one last question here. Let's do this one. Do you have the schedule in front of you, or I can pull it up?
I do not have it in front of me.
That's okay. Actually, I'll pull it up.
Maybe I might have written it down at some point.
That's all right. I'll just
look through my notes.
I'll read it out. So my dog, Boatwagon, at Boatwagon1 over on Twitter.
Great Twitter name.
Great question. Great Twitter name. Boatwagon said, which game is our best candidate for an unexpected win and why?
Oh, yeah, pull it up.
So schedule-wise, we've got Eastern Illinois, Mississippi State, Akron. We're going to throw all those out because all of those should be wins. Mississippi State, maybe it'll be competitive, but we'll see what happens. All right, so after that, we've got to kick off the Big Ten season at Washington, then versus Michigan, at Purdue, versus Iowa, at Indiana, versus UCLA, at Penn State, versus Northwestern, at Wisconsin. Now, with those, I'm going to throw out Wisconsin. I'm going to throw out Northwestern, not because they're auto dubs, even though I hope they are. But again, we've seen our history with Northwestern right now.
Yep.
But I'm going to throw both of them out because you wouldn't qualify those, I think, as an unexpected win. If we won those games, good. I'm not saying it's an auto win, but it would be expected. You go into those games expecting to win. So I think UCLA, it's hard to say what to expect, new coach and everything like that. So I can't really put them in unexpected again. I think you're looking at Washington, you're looking at Michigan, you're looking at Iowa, you're looking at Indiana, and you're looking at Penn State. That's 5 games in the whole entire schedule that I think you look at and you're like, if the Gophers win one of those games, that you can call unexpected. So of those 5 games, what are you looking at as the most or the best candidate as an unexpected win and why?
I'm going to go with the early one. At Washington, That is a very tough place to play. We saw how the Gophers played on the road this year. So going on your first road game to a hostile environment would be and then you're looking at the rest of the season like we could beat anybody. Like it would be. I think that would set the tone for the season. I would be extremely surprised if we win that game. Well, not surprised, but I think we're gonna, because I'm going to talk myself into a winning record out of here somewhere. But I think that would be the most unexpected win.
I think
other than Indiana felt like a cop out, obviously.
Yeah, but for me, I think Washington can make a case. I don't think Indiana can as our best candidate for an unexpected win, because I just don't see it happening. But for me, the best candidate for me means most likely or most reasonable. That's how my brain is processing this. Okay. And so for me, I'm going to get away from the away games of those 5 games. So I'm going to get away from Washington. I'm going to get away from Indiana. I'm going to get away from Penn State, just because it's hard to play on road environments. Also, we saw what this team did on the road last year, and it was boo-boo. But overall, your best environments or your best candidate to get an unexpected win would be at home, in front of your crowd, in front of the momentum, and all of that. So I think your best candidates come down to Michigan and Iowa. Now, for me, even though we haven't proven it, Iowa always feels like a 50-50 game, even though we've been on the bad side of that 50-50 for 90-10. But overall, I feel like it's a good candidate. But again, the game feels like a 50-50 to me, so I don't like to call it an unexpected win, even though history would tell you it is. So I think the thing I'm leaning towards is Michigan. I think Michigan is the best candidate for an unexpected win, because people are going to write the Gophers off right away because it's blue blood, it's Michigan. But Michigan has a new coach. They have a quarterback who has not proven himself. That quarterback did not look good in their spring game, and I know it's just a spring game, but even last year in his first year of playing starting quarterback, Drake Lindsey looked better than Bryce Underwood, in my opinion. Drake Lindsey looked more composed. He looked like a better passer. He looked like he'd get through reads, whereas Bryce Underwood just looked talented. He just looks fast. He just looks like an athlete, but he doesn't look like a true quarterback. And this defense can give just talented quarterbacks issues. You saw that with Jeff Sims. You saw that with some of these non-conference but scrambling type quarterbacks. You saw that with Dylan Raiola. Like, this defense can give those types of players problems if you can't process fast enough, because we're going to throw exotic looks at you. So if Bryce Underwood can't get through the reads quick enough, and with a new coach and not knowing if this offensive line is as strong as it is, and losing Justice Haynes, one of their best running backs, and then all of a sudden all these other question marks come into play, and you're at Minnesota, and it's early in the season, and it's the first week of October where you don't have a ton of tape on people, especially because the Gophers aren't going to show much in those first 3 non-con games. So the first real tape you're going to get is from Washington. So you got 1 week of real tape, and then you got to go on the road to Gophers at Huntington Bank Stadium. I think that is the best candidate for an unexpected win, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Brother, you get me fired up. I can't wait till we do our when we break down the schedule. I'm gonna get reckless. I'm gonna get so reckless.
Well, Tristyn's going to get reckless. We are going to keep you posted here each and every week, where we are talking Gophers football and other Gopher sports. If you've got other topics that you want us to talk about, drop them in the comments below. If you have other questions for future shows, drop them in the comments over on YouTube. We got a show request, and we're going to do this for next show. People dropped comments on Spotify. I get to those. I just see them late because I forget that Spotify, you can do comments. I did see we had a comment over on Spotify. Somebody said, can we get a pod on in-depth Big Ten game review, going difficulty by difficulty? They want us to tier out our schedule: S tier, A tier, B tier. So we're going to break down the Gopher schedule in tiers starting next week. If you have other topic thoughts, drop them in the comments below. We're excited to get after it, Gophers fans. Share the pod, like the pod, drop the conversations down below. We're going to grow this thing. I'm looking forward to it. And like Tristyn said, we're going to get Mo on here eventually. We're going to get Spann-Ford on here.
I'll do my best, guys. He's a busy man. We're going to start with Brev. When we get Brev, then we get Mo. We're going to do both. I'll figure it out.
We're gonna make it happen, but to make it happen, we need more subscribers. We need people to lock in, get with this crew. This is the Gopher Broke podcast. We're excited to have you. If you're a first-time listener, hit subscribe. We'll see you next time. Row the boat, Sky, you mod, go Gophers, as always. And please don't forget to hit subscribe.